mayors. My name is Johnny Budge. I'm representing Cache County and Richmond City. They've made a joint effort to apply for the funds for 11,000 North and 500 North Roadway. Project location, if you're not familiar with Cherry Peak, this road here takes you up to Cherry Peak. Here's Highway 91, Main Street in Richmond, 300 East, over to 500 North, which at some point through here turns into 11,000 North, city boundaries somewhere around here. The project limits. There's been some recent development over here. I believe that has built some of the road, widened it out, and so we felt like that section there was in good condition. It was wide enough, and so our project limits will go just beyond 300 East, and then this is Upper Richmond Road, and we'll go just a bit beyond there because we're reconstructing the intersection. Purpose of the project is to improve safety and the functionality of the road, and that has come about because the road is inadequate to handle the large volume of traffic that has been generated from the development, and especially from Cherry Peak Resort, especially during event times when they've got things going on there in the summer and in the winter time for skiing. Some of the roadway deficiencies that are out there. We've mentioned some areas are wide. Jim had mentioned 22 feet. In other areas it narrows down to anywhere between 16 to 18 feet. Really not a whole lot of room to pass two-way traffic. There are no shoulders, paved nor gravel shoulders. There's steep grades. Some of the grades are up to 10% through here, and because of that, there's significant roadside erosion for drainage through here. You can see it runs all the way along both sides of the road. And it's undermining the road as well the closer it gets, pulling that gravel out. Some other deficiencies, you can see a lot of cracking going on through here. That's because the pavement section only has about 2 inches of asphalt. And then the other deficiency is up at Upper Richmond Road through here. We have a skewed intersection which creates sight distance issues. So what this project is going to do is fully reconstruct the roadway with a new pavement section. Tear out all the old stuff, put in the new. Widen the roadway to 28 feet of asphalt, gives you 2 12-foot travel lanes, 2-foot shoulders, paved shoulders, and then 4-foot gravel shoulders for a total width of 36 feet. And as Jim mentioned again, the intent here is for when development comes in, they'll finish off the widening. Right now, 14 feet ought to be adequate enough to handle the amount of traffic that's being seen out there. The county will be acquiring any additional right-of-ways. We're not requesting any funds for this project for right-of-way purposes. In addition, because of the roadside erosion issues, we're going to line the side of the road with these rock-lined channels. That will help. Because of those steep grades, the rock-lined channel helps slow the water down. It'll contain it, control it, and push it over into the existing system that's further down the road. And then here, Upper Richmond Road, because of those sight distance issues, we'll square it up, make it a 90-degree to help improve sight distance there. Additionally, there'll be some drainage work. A lot of water is coming down off this hill. There is an existing pipe that runs across the road that is completely silted in, 100%. I don't think any water is getting through there now. So I imagine what's happening is it's that water's bringing the gravel down, washing it over the road, creating a hazard there. So we'll make some drainage improvements right there at that intersection. Any questions?
This is a perfect example, Mayor, when you brought up about sometimes you have to just pull it out and actually do it right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in that core sample I saw cow manure, because I'm pretty sure that was a cow trail at one time that eventually led into it. I could have misread the core sample, but not exactly an engineer, but kind of that's the extent. You could tell drastically the condition that that was in, and that's a strong part that I feel COG is effective, is because it allows for this process to really give opportunities to do things correctly. Because as we saw on the side of the road, every year that is coming in. And I don't know if anyone's ridden their bike. If you want a good ride with a little bit of grit to your scare side, ride that one. Even when we were there, semi trucks had to take center lane because there's not room. Two passing is a rough deal on that. And the way that water's coming in, it's easy to see that's the size of that road is closing fast, and eventually it will be gone. It's enough of that, and so time-wise, this allows it to, within reasonable cost, to actually improve that long term. But it's still the reason curb and gutter is left out in the scenario is because it allows for the development to then add, just like it was to the west side of it. The development added the curb and gutter and parking on the side, and that can continue as development eventually goes up. That exact same scenario can continue, which would add additional widening on that road as it goes forward.
And that would be required in your code.
Yes, you're exactly right, just like it was on the current one that was done.
So with the funding request is for $711,000. The match would be 7% at $54,000.
Where are you changing your stormwater running down the side of the road?
There's an existing system closer to 300 East, and we'll take it right down there and put it into there.
To Smithfield. Just
It all runs south, right?
You heard it.
I was just kidding, Mayor.
I
Pond
think
that enters somewhere after Roadway Road?
well, there was some discussion that hasn't been finalized yet.
Canal part,
There is some property across from 300 East on the west side that there's a potential site there to create a drainage.
potential, it's not there yet.
Not there yet.
Yeah, and that is addressed in this when we walked it, as well as in Richmond, we actually required all canals to stay open. So none of the canals are closed, and this does pass through that scenario. And we did that specifically recognizing that on a future understanding, we still had to have water go somewhere. So a lot of the issues that, like on the county side where it's been covered or others, yes, and that for your upper ones, and then your lower ones, that's where it ties into our drainage that we currently have in place. We have drains in place. The subdivisions were required. The goal behind this one is to get it to that engineered point, which that's the problem, is none of this has ever been engineered to actually flow correctly into that type of traffic setup, which is what this would finally accomplish.